Hello everyone, Tevin Townsend here, and welcome to another meditation session. Let's start out with astrology. Hope everybody's having a good morning, or will have a good morning. The sun enters Aquarius. This is a post from Stormy Grace, one of my favorite astrologers. Sun is in Aquarius from January 19th to February 18th. During this cycle, we are motivated by our hunger for knowledge, experience, and originality. Innovation is more important to us than convention. We become more aware of what is outdated in our lives and strive to find new perspectives and ways to do things. The class distinctions, structure, and order that Capricorn finds appealing now seems to be too rigid. The freedom of the individual becomes far more significant to us. We strive to free ourselves from some of the restrictions, inhibitions, and limitations that now feel constraining rather than safe. So, seeing how I can apply that to my current situation, I think my whole life has been about trying to obtain freedom, and I think I'm starting to catapult in that direction since getting back in the States. Being in Honduras in a completely different environment and having to experience some things has really kind of hardened myself. And I think I'm a lot more focused now. That's why I'm trying to do these podcasts on a regular basis, amongst other things. One thing you guys will be seeing, I'll be putting some products online, starting out with some organic soap. We all need some soap that's alkaline and healthy for our skin, less chemicals. Want to get some lotion. I want to get some shampoo for everyone too. All right. Today's topic is about workers' unions. I found some part-time work, and I had to sit through a presentation of workers' benefits, and a topic that came up was workers' unions. This is a company that's been around since the 1800s, and these older companies have strong beliefs about unions, and unions are crucial to maintaining the balance in the workplace between the evil man, employer, and good guy, employee. Sometimes the employee is evil too. Just want to point that out. I've never been a fan of self-interest politics, and that's at the root of unionism. As I was sitting through the presentation, she made such a strong presentation that you'd have to be stupid to not sign up for the union. And I'm always the guy that asks questions. So me being Tevin Townsend, I just said, hey, because she asked if anyone had any questions at the end of it. I wanted to know if we were able to opt out or if it was mandatory. That was my only question. Didn't insinuate anything, didn't even get political. So then she wants to know, after I just went through the trouble of selling the value of this union, why would you not want to be in the union? I'm curious. And my response was, look, I don't want to turn this into a political conversation. I just was interested in whether this was mandatory or if it was not. And then she insisted again. She said, this is an open discussion. Share. Please feel free to share. Maybe I can address what your concern might be. And once again, I had to tell her, no, I'm not really here to debate, because this could get into a real derailed conversation. And so she proceeded to spend an extra 5 minutes selling the value. And she had some personal stories. She's been working for the company for 37 years. She said without that union there, she probably would not still have her job. The union has helped her out in a lot of situations. And to not be pro-union or to join the union is to shoot yourself in the foot. That was her main point. And what I see with self-interest politics in general, identity politics, I talk about this all the time. Even when you don't play that game, meaning you're neutral, people start projecting, they're offended, and it turns into either you're with me or you're against me. She kept saying, the union doesn't look favorably upon people that don't sign up. Something's going to happen. A lot of intimidation tactics. Something's going to happen and we're not going to have your back. And people are going to think that you're a freeloader because all of the good workers are paying union dues and fees every week and you're not paying anything and you're still getting some benefits. And she said it just isn't right. And there was so much I could break down and explain what was wrong with it, but it just wasn't the time, it wasn't the place. You know me. So I'm going to discuss all that in this podcast. Let's start out with a scripture. Now, I am not Christian, guys, but there's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. This is a parable from Jesus. It's Matthew 20, verses 2 through 16, and it's perfect for this situation. Jesus needed some people to help him plant a vineyard. So let's read this out. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again, he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto him, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, maybe that was evening, I'm not sure, Call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them, and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. What that is telling you is the people who got there first and worked more hours that day only started to feel a certain way because they saw something they didn't like. They saw that someone got equal pay even though they work less. So it's, I deserve more. But it's not about that. It comes down to what was agreed upon before. And it's strange how a good man that is willing to give these other individuals the same opportunity the other person got by being generous, and that turns into something negative from the other side. So that's what I'll say on that. There's a book I wanted to mention. It's by a lady called Star Parker. I read this maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. It's called Uncle Sam's Plantation. It's a pretty good read. She, is from a Democratic background. I think she's from South Carolina or Louisiana. I don't know. And she saw the victimology complex of Democrats and lower class people in general, but particularly African Americans. And she decided to be an entrepreneur and not give in to that defeatist mentality and always being mad at the corporate people. And don't get me wrong, the corporations are evil to a large extent. But as I mentioned earlier, the employees have faults too, and these unions are no better when it comes down to it. So she recounted her story where she went to a job and she encountered a union recruiter, and she wasn't really interested in the union, and the union recruiter started to come at her a little more difficult, and it's almost as if the relationship was bumpy from day one just because she wasn't interested in the union. So the lady I had to listen to almost used the same intimidation tactics, and even said, if you don't sign up, someone will be in touch with you to contact you. And they don't like freeloaders. I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of time explaining why I personally don't need to sign up for a union. First of all, I'm not paying, $8.50 a week for a lot of nonsense that I don't need. I don't need health insurance. Now, she needs health insurance. She's, 50, 60 years old. She's been working for the company 37 years. So she's really concerned about her job security. She's got a lot invested in her retirement. We're two totally different people. I'm not even planning on working there long term. It's not going to be a career. It's just very, very, very temporary. So it's projection. And if we would have engaged in conversation for a long time and I had to break that down, she would have been very, very, very offended, I think. But it is what it is. The last point is, if you work at a place where you feel a union is necessary in order for you to be treated the right way, it's probably a company you shouldn't be working for. Well, I've worked many jobs, and when I became extremely disgruntled, extremely dissatisfied, I just go find something else. The agreement you sign with these employers, a lot of them suck. They're called at-will contracts. And the unions come in and they try and bend the rules. They say, we don't like this contract, it sucks. Let's put pressure on you to do things better. But the issue is that you agreed up front for these sucky wages and you agreed to these sucky terms. So when you understand that, you can subtract the union out of the whole psychology of it and reflect upon yourself and think about, how did you end up in that situation? And I'm not going to say it's always so simple. Not everyone is single. Not everyone is healthy. But then maybe that's something else for them to reflect on. Why are you not healthy? Why do you have all these kids and no stability? Right? So with that said, this has been Meditating Aloud with Tevin Townsend. You guys have yourselves a great morning.